Ladies and gentlemen, this is an article that came out November 16th, 2017. And this is from slate.com. I will leave the link to this article in the description box. It's not just opioids. Overdoses are happening at an increasingly fast rate. Mixing opioids with alcohol and sleeping pills is probably making it worse. Now, it's bad enough they're mixing fentanyl in with everything. Now, to add insult to injury, they're incorporating alcohol and sleeping pills on top of the opioids. Ooh, deadly combination. Deaths from drug overdoses have recently multiplied in the US to the point that overdoses are reducing average lifespans for several demographic slices of the adult population. So much for that. White people live longer than black people. Not anymore, because you are cutting your life expectancy from the big, huge chunk of your population doing drugs. Opioid abuse is being blamed as the main killer. Doctors' narcotic prescriptions led to a glut of prescription pain pills in people's cabinets, which often led to abuse. And then use of less expensive street opioids that are even more dangerous than prescription drugs. Efforts of law enforcement and treatment programs have focused on opioids and opioid manufacturers. But this ignores a crucial component of this toxic equation. Opioids are not the only substance to blame. Sleeping pills and alcohol often join to make the combined gang a killer. A whiskey bottle does have a government warning. So yeah, you do have the government warning about the alcohol impairing you and all that stuff. May cause health problems, but it fails to warn that mixing alcohol with narcotics and sleeping pills or tranquilizers can make a lethal combination. This is them desperate for the highest possible high they can get. That's what this is. It's stupidity at its best. Like opioid, sleeping pills come from manufacturers who have not warned doctors and patients of the great risk. Many sleeping pills are required legally. A prescription sleeping pills, as well as alcohol abuse, have all increased in the past 10 to 15 years, just as opioids have. By sleeping pills, I referred mainly to, I guess it's things like your Ambien and things of that nature that help put you to sleep. Food and Drug Administration supported a study estimated in 2011, 31% of opioid overdose deaths also included, guess what, a tranquilizer or sleeping pill. Other estimates of the percentage of opiates overdose deaths associated with your sleeping pills were higher. So it's common for somebody that's doing opioids to also do sleeping pills. The 31% likely underestimated multiple drug participation because about 25% of overdose death certificates did not list all the drugs involved. Now, why is that? Why are these coroner offices and medical examiner offices, why are they not listing all of the drugs that are in these victims' system? To me, that's also lying. Withholding information is lying, right? Likewise, the 31% did not include the most popular sleeping pill, Zolpidem. Okay, so I don't know how these people think they're going to survive drinking alcohol with opioids and sleeping pills. You're asking to die, as far as I'm concerned. All right, so there's also been increased visits of overdose deaths and, and people going to the emergency room because of overdosing. When mixed together, with the sleeping pills and tranquilizer and alcohol, um, like I said, you're asking to die. Drinking that combination, please. These drug gang ups to stop breathing. So, once they do this combination of the alcohol and the pills, it's very common for them to stop breathing and end up in the emergency room. If not, they OD and die. Many overdose deaths involve sleeping pills and alcohol. Did not even include an opioid. Declaring an opioid emergency overlooks a large part of the problem. State governments have passed over the other substances while they sue opioid manufacturers and regulate opioid prescriptions. States do tax and restrict alcohol sales, recognizing that alcohol causes death and much damage beyond overdoses. But even though states often pay for sleeping pills, they have taken no action to reduce their overuse. Sleeping pills cause much death and damage besides overdose. They have been associated with falls and accidents and cause infection and depression. The public receives almost no warning of the most serious risk. Much great effort is needed to protect the public from the risk of combining opiates, sleeping pills, and alcohol. Government publicity, teaching material, courses, and treatment programs for doctors, patients, and the public should all emphasize the risk of the drug combinations. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention guidelines and FDA drug labeling warning. Combining opiates and, your sleeping pills and your alcohol, but have failed to warn about the risk of combining opiates and sleeping pills 75% of the time. I'm not surprised. There is so much going on as far as these drugs are concerned out in the public. I'm just telling you, you will never get the full truth if you don't follow the drug epidemic or plague that's going on in the country. You're never going to get the truth because mainstream media, they are determined not to give this plague a lot of media coverage. Regulators have a role here too. They should give the same, they should give the same attention to sleeping pills that they give to the opioids and alcohol killers. The Drug Enforcement Administration, the FDA, state authorities, and police should all realize the overdose plague is not isolated. It often results from multiple drugs being allowed to work together. If we are working to stop one, we should work to stop all three. Wow. So sleeping pills, opioids, and alcohol is also a huge problem in the country. When will it all end? That's the thing. It won't end. It won't end. They can't end this thing, ladies and gentlemen. I don't care how many cops they got running around with Narcan. It is never going to be enough to stop this plague that's going on in the country. America is a cursed nation. Please tell me what you think. Please leave your comment and subscribe. And don't forget to hit on the notification bell. Peace, family.